So today we have a special live stream for you guys. We're talking about what the point of this page is, first of all, which we've never directly addressed in any of our streams. But you guys have been faithfully following along for many months, so thank you for your loyalty. We are here to talk about a course that SPASIGMA, which is the company that we've been doing these live streams through, has developed that's related to how to speed read personality temperament and personality type. So there's two different courses, and today we're going to show you a little bit of the first course, and we're going to talk about it and kind of tell you like where you can use the content, where you can't, and where it's going to be super applicable. And we're going to show you some videos from it so you guys can kind of get a taste of what it's about and whether or not it's something that could be a useful addition to your life. So there's a lot of kind of discourse on whether or not you can really quickly identify personality types or personality temperaments. And I think Denzel and I are in agreement. Denzel, correct me here if you disagree, but that it's difficult to get someone's type 100% correct very quickly. It often takes a long time of knowing them. It takes seeing them in different situations. So usually when you're meeting people for the first time, you're not necessarily going to get an accurate read on their type right away. But there are some shortcuts you can take. So the way that we structure this course at SPASIGMA is first we show you how to get clues that will help you to quickly identify someone's temperament. So we use the Keirsey temperament, so NT, NF, SP, and SJ. There are a lot of different ways you could organize temperaments, but since those are the ones that most people go with, we went with those. And then once you have their temperament or have your best guess of their temperament, the second part of the course shows you how to adapt your communication style in order to better communicate with every temperament. So I don't know about you, Denzel, but that's actually a question I get a lot is, my parents are SJs and I'm an NT and I'm totally lost on how to have a better relationship with them, or I'm dating an SP, but I'm an NF. So I think that there's a lot of very workable things in here about how to meet people on their level and kind of speak their language instead of trying to keep communicating to them in your language and like having that barrier. The course is geared towards the workplace, so it's especially applicable for like companies and people who work in teams. But it's also applicable for, your normal relationships and, basically anyone you interact with. Everyone has a personality type, so.
Yeah, precisely. I think that, because I actually went through the course, and I think that it is very helpful in seeing the similarities. Like recently we went over like the similarities between like even some of the quadras, like when I was on with Johannes talking about socionics and everything. But this one goes through the certain temperaments, the SJs, the NTs, the NFs, and the SPs, and what they all have in common, and pretty much like how you can be able to identify them, and being able to identify the certain temperament that you're working with, even if you're unable to get their exact personality type, if you at least know that they're an SP, then there's some common traits that all SPs have, at least generally speaking, that you can use to better communicate with the person. So a lot of people, they can't even tell like what exactly like their parent is, either because their parent refuses to take the test, or like just they're like confused about like, oh, I can't even tell if they're an introvert or extrovert, whatever. But if you get them, at least like if you're able to understand these temperaments on at least a fundamental level, and we're going to give you a few previews today. We're not going to give you everything, but a few previews today. Then it'll help you a lot with interpersonal communication, which is something I get a lot, even as a life coach. Like I get parents all the time who are asking me like, oh, I have an INTP son. How the heck do I deal with him with this, that? And I explain these things to the parent. They're like, oh, well, that makes sense. So even though this is like focused on business, I've seen that it actually can spread to many other areas as well.
Yeah, so this program, it teaches you to quickly recognize based on key like temperamental, linguistic, body language clues, which personality temperament you're talking to, whether it's like over the phone, whether it's in a first meeting or an interview. And then it gives you tools for communicating with that temperament in a way that they like to be communicated with. So like we said, it's divided into 2 parts. So for each temperament, we have how to read that temperament. So how to get an idea of which type of temperament you're speaking with quickly. And then we have how to reach each temperament. So how to cater your communication. So the video we're going to show you is one of many, many videos that the course includes. So we break down reading temperament into things like how each temperament speaks, how they prefer to communicate. So like whether it's face-to-face, whether it's over email, etc. How they dress, what their demeanor is. So it goes really, really into detail. So we're going to show you kind of a brief overview.
Okay, let's take a look at this video to pick up some communication clues.
What was going right at HP and what had to be fixed?
So I think this is a very good lesson for all of you. When you find yourself in a new situation, particularly in a senior leadership role, and you're in a new organization, your instinct is to go fix what's wrong, right? Make the list of all the things that need to be fixed and go after them. My advice, now having done this on a number of times, is go into an organization and figure out what that company's doing right and do more of it.
All right, so gang, what did you hear?
Straight to the point. Straight to the
knowledgeable.
point.
Okay, straight to the point, knowledgeable. What else?
Very detailed.
Very detailed. Okay, okay.
Organized, thoughts on her fingers.
Yeah, thoughts are very organized. Exactly. She
Ordered.
knows exactly where
Ordered,
she's going when she
yes.
makes that list. It's very
Very
ordered.
concise.
Yeah, very concise. I like that. I like that.
Almost feels almost premeditated.
Okay, like it's prepared in some way,
Prepared,
right? But
yeah.
but we know she is speaking off the cuff,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
really is the mark of a really sharp
We
mind,
all said
right?
when you said speaking
Yeah.
off the cuff.
Yes.
She wants to appear that way, but really it's
Okay.
got everything.
Okay, so what do we want to put on the board here? What do we want to put on the board?
Precise.
Precise.
Specific.
To the point.
Precise.
Okay.
To the
To
point,
the point.
detailed, ordered.
All right. Why don't we do 2 here? Why don't we do to the point?
Yeah.
Right. And let's put the word details.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Now, how do you think SJs like Meg communicate via the written word? You know, when she's emailing, when she's messaging, when she's texting, you think it's just casual with a bunch of goofy emojis and GIFs?
Short, specific, to the point, very punctual.
Okay. Do you think they show a lot of care and emotion and concern that you're going to interpret it in just the right way and that they're really heartfelt?
Probably
Probably
not.
not, right? Yeah,
It's
probably
getting
not.
her points across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would we define it as sort of an informal or formal writing style?
Formal.
Proper and formal. Yeah.
Proper and formal, I think.
Professional.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we put on the board formal writing style? Yeah? Let's do that. All right, one more, Hazel. One more.
Now let's talk about a few communication clues that are likely to give away an SJ temperament. SJs have a purposeful air about them and speak in short, structured sentences that deal with tangible specifics. They're closure-oriented and aim to get things pinned down and settled in an efficient manner. When discussing a project or task, SJs find it natural to provide many concrete and detailed specifics that pertain to the task at hand. However, they're disinclined to embark on free associative tangents or engage in spontaneous brainstorming. They would rather sift through and sort out the facts than initiate exciting brainstorming sessions that may never lead anywhere. And they see no reason to try to reinvent the wheel when a perfectly good way of doing things is already known to them. When others are being too excitable and dreamy, SJs might be curt in getting the discussion back on track. If brainstorming is truly called for, they'll prefer to set up a meeting so it can be done in a formal and structured way. SJs are well prepared and can field many queries by relying on their preparation. But if you happen to catch them off guard, they may seem flustered or shut down as they're not comfortable improvising or giving uncertain answers. SJs are the most formal of all the temperaments. They adhere to the proper forms of address and often include a long and formal email signature, contact information, potential confidentiality notice, mini bios, etc. SJs are the least likely to skimp on formalities, such as intros, Dear Mr. Smith, and outros, Best wishes, John Doe. They will generally not try to buddy up to you or be responsive to informal, friendly overtures on your part, but will prefer to keep things businesslike. They give precise and detailed answers and will be fast and professional in responding to business queries. Again, out of all the temperaments, SJs are the most naturally well organized, and so they'll generally live up to high standards for professional behavior.
Okay, cool. And we're back.
All right.
So that's an example of kind of the first steps of reading the SJ temperament. And just to keep in mind, this is mostly in the workplace. So if you catch, like an ESFJ or an ESTJ off the clock, they're not necessarily going to have that extremely formal nature. But I think in general, they will be a little more formal than like an SP who's off the clock. Like they'll still kind of have that air of like almost not quite professionalism, but they're a little more composed.
Yeah, composed. I guess
so,
that's all. And I hope that I think that this was very informative for especially those who did not know what exactly SPA Sigma was and all of that. And there's a lot more videos than what you guys just saw. Just like with the first video where we showed Meg Whitman, was that her name?
Yeah.
We have sections where we show these celebrities or these well-known people in the course for each of them. We didn't show them for all of the ones just now. We only showed Meg's. But for all of them, we show a certain celebrity, and you get to watch a certain clip of that, and it's really fun, to be able to identify, okay, it's kind of like you're in on the discussion as well. Oh, I get it. This person's definitely of the SP temperament, and then you solidify reasoning as to why that person may be, and then you see it in real life. So yeah, I think the course is actually very good, and if you guys want it, we just posted the link, I believe Heidi said that it's $49 for the course. Yeah, okay. So, yep. I think that's all I have to say about that for now. You can wrap it up.
Yeah, so the course gives you a lot of cool things. You get all of the different tips on how to read each different temperament. So it goes through SJs, SPs, NTs, NFs, and it talks about how to read them on a variety of different things. So how they dress, how they talk, even things like how frequently you might see them or whatever. It's really thorough in recognizing each of these types, and then it's also really thorough in how to cater your communication to each of the types. So let us know what you guys think. The link's in the comments and also on the screen right now. So if you go through and take it, please just let us know your thoughts. We're super interested to hear what you think. And there is also a 2.0 version of the course where we talk about how to reach not just the temperaments, but how to reach an introvert versus how to reach an extrovert, how to reach a intuitive versus how to reach a sensor. So we actually go through each of the different letters and talk about on a individual dichotomy basis how to read and reach each of those type preferences. So that's where it gets super interesting, in my opinion. So let us know if you want. We can do an intro to that as well. We can show you guys a little bit about how to speak more effectively to an introvert, how to speak more effectively to a thinker, how to speak more effectively to a perceiver. Let us know which ones you're interested in, and we can do that for you.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us today, guys, and we'll be back with you next Wednesday.
I'm David Bowder, CEO of SPA Sigma. Every day, each of us is surrounded by a great diversity of people, and indeed, personalities. Some people we find it very easy to relate to. Others, not so much so. Our program exists to help you make sense of your own personality, as well as the diverse personalities around you, to help you improve both your personal and professional lives. Shakespeare said, "To thine own self be true." We'll teach you to understand how to reach the diverse personalities around you, to communicate with them in a way that integrates who you are with who they are. So enough talk about all this. Welcome to SPA Sigma's Personality Quotient PQ program. Enjoy the journey.